Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
Mix it up a little bit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of the Massenomics podcast. I am Tyler. Next to me is Tommy.
What's up?
And Tanner.
Hey, everybody.
Did you guys hear about this newest powerlifting video game? It's taking the world by storm.
I have only seen such things.
It looks like it's an Xbox 360 exclusive though, so I might.
All the best games. Are Xbox
you know why it's on 360
well,
though?
It's only $19.99.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, how
release
many
a top
Xbox
tier.
One games do you get for $19.99?
None of them.
All the best everything that you can get is $19.99.
Yeah.
But did you see there's also a USAPL one now?
I did see that too.
With Russell.
Ori?
Yeah, there you go. I never know how to say his last name.
I think that's how you say it. I don't really know.
Yeah. And
it's missing a few key features in the USAPL one, like the trend and the D-ball.
The super enhanced supplement stack.
Yeah. So someone asked
the unlocked characters.
Someone asked Russell who if he stole that from us or if we stole that from him, and I commented on there. I said Russell stole it from us, but we stole it from Johnny Candido, and Johnny Candido probably stole it from someone else because there is nothing that is.
I don't think putting yourself.
I said The Simpsons. When
Simpsons
it comes to The Simpsons,
I can't imagine like even Johnny. I mean, he did it years ago, but I can't imagine he was the first one to put himself like on a Madden cover. Like, like people have been doing that stuff forever. So
I've been doing it for literally days now.
As soon as you saw that, you're like, oh, what could I be all on the cover of?
Get me on that 2005 Michael Vick cover.
I did catch a lot of heat for the Xbox 360 though.
Really?
A lot of people didn't really get the whole thing of the 1999. Like, it's just like, it's cheap, you know?
Yeah.
It's been around for a while.
The question now, is this going to start the curse of the USPA cover now?
I've heard a lot of comments about that actually.
Oh, was that in there? Did people say that?
Yes, that they're worried that it's going to be the curse and now he's going to be hurt.
The Massenomics curse?
Would you play?
Here I thought it was the Massenomics effect. It was a positive thing.
It might be the Massenomics boost though. Yeah,
that's true.
This is the year.
Now he'll probably be strong now that we've done. Since
he
we've
might
done
probably get jacked next year now.
Would you play an EA Sports powerlifting video game?
I would, of course. I can see how they could just turn into like a lot of mini games, like just time, like when you play golf games and it's just like timing. Like I could just see powerlifting games doing that.
I can actually see you got the two thumbsticks. You got to do something with the gun triggers slowly in the rate with which you do that, while the rate with which you pull down till you get to depth, and then it's got to be up, and it also can't be crooked, or you're going to start getting weird.
It'd almost be like if they took...
It would suck.
Yeah. It'd be like if they took the free throw aspect of basketball games and made it
game
way more complicated.
And then just made the game free throws.
And then, the heavier the lift gets, like the windows you have for any error, like get completely eliminated.
Yeah. It would need to be a game where there's a lot of just the videos that run, like that you like see the
it's just
things,
a lot of cuts.
Like where they put your character in there.
Cut scenes over and over.
It would have to be very much like a franchise mode, like a story mode where you're like, all right, you're going to get a sponsorship. How hard are you going to hustle?
Yeah, Larry's the main guy, and it's just black Tom Cruise just yelling in the background the whole time.
How boring would the game be, though, if it was actually like real life? You would
literally
boring, just like play it.
As boring as actually just watching powerlifting.
It'd actually be kind of like in Fortnite in the beginning, before you go, you're just kind of in this group of people. It'd be like if you're just in the group of people all the time. Like that's all it is,
But I would picture you would play the game like 4 or 5 nights a week for like an hour to 2 at a time.
Well, you'd have to,
Nothing very exciting would happen. And maybe after you did that for like 6 months,
then you decide to get serious, and then the game gets a little more challenging.
But then you only actually get like just like a little barely measurable bit better.
Yeah.
And I made the comment too to someone else. No one ever wins because just no matter what you do, you always wish you would have done a little bit more.
Well, and there's
So
always somehow
never
a
like
record. There's always somehow a record that's better than yours too. So it's just a zero-sum game.
Yep.
So I cannot imagine that anyone's beaten down the doors to make a powerlifting game anytime soon.
No.
And if we weren't clear,
Bodybuilding.
there was an
game,
Instagram.
however,
There was an Instagram post of Larry Wheels. Like that's
On
what
the
we're
cover
talking.
of
Yeah.
an EA Sports.
I do
game.
think a bodybuilding game would be really cool, where you just are fighting in the pose down.
stepping in front of back and forth. And I don't know if USPA liked the game or not. All they commented was this emoji, like where you're thinking. I'm like, oh, what does that mean? You're thinking it's good or thinking it's
Pretty
bad?
passive aggressive shit you just pulled right there.
Yeah. Sorry for the free advertisement.
Probably better than whatever you were doing, which is nothing.
Actually, when I saw that, I was like, oh, they have an Instagram account. That was kind of my.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
So Tanner, you brought a little heat to this podcast today. Tanner brought a sack.
Yeah,
it's been. How long do you suppose it's been?
It's been.
Do you think our friends at Open Powerlifting could interpret some of that data for us? Be like,
The last
how
time
many
Tanner had a
episodes
sack.
has it been?
I don't know
since
if they've
Tanner
even.
brought a sack?
They probably haven't even listened long enough, like that when we used to have a sack segment.
Do you think it's been
they should-
50 episodes since
Yeah,
we've
so
had a sack?
if you
I
know
bet
what
it's
we're
been
talking
close.
about right now, it means you've been listening for a while.
you're an
a
OG.
while.
So I do think though.
You
that-
probably have a closet
I
full
think
of
our friends
Massenomics
at
apparel.
Open Powerlifting should start compiling data for the podcast.
You know what? Actually, don't let me forget. I want to talk about something with them in a little bit here.
Oh, do you want to now? Or?
Well, we can right now if you
Yeah, I
want.
could-
We'll just put the sack on hold.
Yeah.
This,
Yeah,
all right,
just hold on to
people.
your sack, all right?
This is called suspense building, anticipation.
Don't
So
look.
they had a post today. They were saying they were working on iPhone compatibility and some kind of other things, and then they said like, what features would you guys like to see on the site? And my first thing is, I think it'd be cool if they just started to do like just kept kind of like pre-templated filters almost built for people, just so you go in and check. Because I'm sure like if you know, there's a lot of things in there that we're not smart enough to figure out how to pull the reports on. I don't even know if you have the ability to do that. But like the first thing that comes to mind is like, you guys know the IMDb Internet Movie Database?
Mm-hmm.
Like they have the top 250. So you can always go in there and just see the top 250.
Uh-huh.
Well, like, you know, if they just, you know, start to have like predefined lists, like, you know, top men's of all time or top deadlift of all time. Right now you can kind of find those by clicking through and doing a little work. But if they started to do some crazier ones like top men's of all time over 6 feet tall. Ooh, that one would be tough though. They don't have height though. But you know,
That
just
would be-
like
yeah,
some weirder
I do,
things.
I do think that the height and like the hard part too is like the competition body weights at each deal. Like I don't know that stuff is listed. Of course, there's probably no way that they can go back and retroactively get all that.
On most of them, no.
No,
Yeah,
but
it'd be
like some of that data, I think that's like even like height is a piece of information that would be a really cool filter.
Oh, just to like compare that against like certain lifts and just see like how it does or doesn't affect.
Yeah, that would be
And
cool.
like how at this height you need to be a certain body weight.
Because they can
to
do a
be-
lot of things via weight class. That's pretty good. Also, left and right handedness.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, if only like for a powerlifting meet they made you fill out a very comprehensive
Full bio.
medical history.
Hair color.
That's what I would like to do before a powerlifting. Like, why do you need this for open powerlifting?
I would like these sorted exclusively by mother's maiden name.
Something just that you mentioned that I think would be cool. They put out. There's obviously some programming or something that would go behind this. It wouldn't be necessarily all that simple, but some of the charts and stuff that they put out, if there was a way that you could just run those, you know, say you wanted to see what are some of the ones they've done where it's like bar charts of women.
Yeah, like,
you know,
and that's what I think would be cool is if they
Yeah.
almost had like for like Excel, it'd be kind of like a macro section or
Yeah,
whatever, where
yeah.
like you can go in and they have all these pre-built filters and you can click it and like us stupid people with that stuff don't have to worry about trying to figure out how their database works.
Yeah.
They can just click the button and be like, oh, those are the top guys that weigh over 200 pounds that bench this much, and just have answers like that.
Yeah.
My favorite thing still is the graph analysis that they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
really cool.
Like have those are those on the website just like there that you can filter through, or are those a social media publication that they do?
I think just
they
social
did- yeah,
media.
So I think that part would be pretty sweet too.
Yeah.
You can be to see a visual interpretation of
Yeah.
it is always really
Yeah,
cool.
those are
Like
good.
when we were looking at like the deadlift breakdowns, like what percentage of deadlifts, see that in a pie chart, and you're like, Jesus,
Yeah.
anything over 8 is kind of a big fucking deal, you
Right.
know? And like it's pretty cool.
Same
to
thing with
see.
the like how they had that with the bench. Like you see, like even a 500-pound bench was at like 1% of
1 or
people.
something,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then 600 is like 0.0001.
Funny how you get so desensitized to those numbers because of the
Yeah.
internet,
Because you
though.
see-
It's like, oh,
Because
I can name just as many guys that can bench 600 as guys that
Because
can't bench
those are the
600.
guys that
you watch, you
yeah,
watch a lot of.
yeah.
And those are the people that have a big following. So what happens now, and that's why I think people's expectations get skewed.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, I see 1,000-pound squats literally every fucking day on Instagram.
Right.
And
But it's actually in actuality, it's so rare and
it's
so
the
much outside
same
the lines.
5
Yeah,
people.
right. Yeah, right. Yes.
You know, it's the same 5 people.
Yeah, and even if you talk about like an 800-pound deadlift, which is not as rare as a 1,000-pound squat, like there's a lot of different people you could come across on the sphere of Instagram that would be doing that, but in real life, like those people are pretty few and far between. Like you're not just like stumbling upon people at those strength levels all that often, and
Unless you lift at Massenomics.
then
then it's
you're
just another
outside the
day
lines.
at the office.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Open powerlifting, though, listeners out there, do whatever you can to help us get to 10,000 Instagram followers before them. We were kind of having a little thing.
As much as we like them,
Yeah, we just want to
have
get
to
there
beat
before them. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
because it's all about who's there first.
And they have a head start. Although we had a much longer head start, but as of this minute in time, they have a head start. So
Yeah. So you guys. So what you really need to do is get.
I guess
us more
unfollow
followers.
them.
Yeah. that might be
Don't
playing
do
hard.
that.
Don't
Yeah.
do that.
Don't
But
do that.
follow us twice.
Just make more fake accounts for
Yes,
us. That's all I
yes.
got to do.
That's this artificially inflate the numbers. We don't care about actual results or anything. We just want.
No, it's purely a vanity metric.
Yeah.
So Tanner, let's talk about your sack.
Yeah. Well, first of all, there's
pretty full.
There's presents for everyone.
Whoa,
like that.
presents. Holy.
And what we've got in the sack is a bunch of stuff from Spud Inc.
Yeah.
that they sent our way to try out. Or wait, I meant to give you those ones. They probably fit you better.
It's because my biceps are bigger.
I'll just.
Yeah, I
those
want
are
the
biggest
bigger
ones.
what? I don't get the big size?
I gave you the smallest one that they sent.
So
out.
what do we
You're gonna
got
have an
here?
Arm off, Tanner. What do we got?
Well, this
Oh,
this
we
is,
got a card.
This is all from Spud Inc. and they did send a card and they said, "Hope you guys have fun trying these out. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, Dale." So this would be stuff from Dale and Spud at Spud Inc. And this first thing that we're opening is the same for all of us. What are their technical names? Forearmor. And what it's like is, I would say, it's like a compression cuff.
Yeah.
Like this part is a compression
Oh,
cuff, and then it's just
okay.
a strap that you can tighten.
Then you can tighten.
Yeah, so
that's
it's
actually really
you
cool.
can make like with some of those compression cuffs, they're so tight it feels good while you're lifting, but you don't like that feeling like in between sets because it hurts. And I think the idea here is that you can tighten it up, do your sets,
Get it
loosen
off.
it up. Yeah,
Yep. Without having to like rip a big thing on you.
right. I have not tried these. I just
I like
opened them
this
up.
already.
Okay, I get it. Very nice.
Because I've still been dealing with like nearly debilitating elbow pain.
Yeah. So I think you could probably put these like or on your knees or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
too.
you could- yeah,
You know, because they make these in a lot of different sizes
Around your neck. I mean, not your neck, my neck.
in the right setting. But you also could use these for is it called occlusion training?
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah, that'd
one,
make it
one
really
of the
easy to
one of the selling points
really
too,
strap
because
it
you can
down.
really tighten it
Yeah,
up.
you can.
But
And now you guys get to listen to us just close and open Velcro for 10 minutes straight.
You guys ready? Hold on. We'll get this. You guys want to feel what it feels like?
Yeah, you can clamp these things out.
Some good radio.
satisfying.
Do you guys know Velcro is a name brand? Do you know what it is actually called?
Hook and loop.
Yeah,
Or hook and latch. Or
Hook and loop.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I had to look it up the other day because I'm like, what the hell is hook and loop?
Yeah. if you look at it really, really closely, you can see.
Yeah, I mean, it is a series of hooks and loops.
Yeah.
Fun fact, similar case is not very often I get to draw on my old job. Did you know that the term Freon is also a brand name?
Really?
Owned by DuPont.
Wow.
It's
What's
actually,
the-
It's just refrigerant.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, I thought Freon was almost like an element.
It is, I think.
Really?
No, I don't know.
It would be like
No, it's not.
Kleenex is probably the most common example of that everyone calls it a Kleenex, but it's really a
Post-it
tissue.
note, you could say too.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say that's in the same category.
Yeah. Velcro also, it every time you use it, it's less effective than the previous time you used it. I believe it wears out.
Not this one though. These are,
Not these
this
ones
is-
though. Not this premium Velcro.
That's
And
where
do
you're
you know?
going.
And do you know how I know that? Because these were given to us for free, and that's how I know that these are the best.
I like the red.
I do
Red
like
color.
the red.
I'm
That's
wondering if
really
they
nice.
maybe make these in yellow too. That Spud makes a lot of yellow
they
stuff.
do. They do
but,
throw a little yellow in once in a while.
they sent us all red ones,
The
but
red looks nice though.
so yeah, these are called the 4 Armor, and they've got a size on them, and I think that's literally just you would measure wherever you want to put it.
My understanding from what I'm looking at this, the size is the loop size.
Yes.
Yep.
And then there's an overall length as well.
Oh.
There's 2 numbers.
Oh yeah. So is the bigger
The,
ones
yep.
long?
Yep. So the 16 forearm,
It makes
and
sense
then the
because
length
you would.
is
got longer to
26.
go around.
Yeah.
Man, these guys really thought this through here.
Yeah. So these are pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really nice.
I would say very well made. You know, I mean,
Like anything Spud Inc.
that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
kinda
Everything
bulletproof.
Yes. But those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
The 4 Armors.
Yeah, those are awesome.
And I did look it up. I think these cost $20 or $30. I can't.
For a set of 2 though, that is the nice thing. A lot of
Yeah.
cuffs come with just
Well,
one.
that was like my big gripe with the other forearm cuffs that I've got in the past that weren't from Spud Inc. Because it's like you buy one.
Yeah.
I was like, well, listen,
What do I do? What do I want? Just one.
all my
for?
shit hurts.
Yeah.
I need fucking more than one.
You don't want to be uneven either, you know.
Right. But with all Spud stuff, A, like we said, it's made pretty well, and then B, it's never that expensive. Like
No, it's very, like-
I feel like they're pricing it at a price that they can make money and also like not be.
Yeah, it doesn't have like some like where are they coming up with this? Like you never say that when you see their things. Like,
Right. So that's the thing they sent us that we all get to enjoy, and then they sent us some other stuff here for the gym.
Ooh.
And I really have not looked at much of this, so. And I don't know if some of this will be all that visually appealing right now to look at, but we can sure. This is the glute ham strap, and I don't know, we can take that out if we want to, but I think what that is you would wrap that like around a bench so that you could do like a glute ham raise.
Oh, kind of straps you down and
Strap yourself in.
Yeah, lock
Yep.
your ankles or calves in
Okay.
so that you could do glute ham raises, which
Yep,
would
makes
be
sense.
very hard without. But they showed someone doing it in a bench press and putting a band across the bench, and then using the band like as assistance because
Because they were a fat power lifter.
right exactly yes
I mean, if you're athletic, it's probably a
Yes,
issue,
no,
but if you're
no.
us, you're going to need a partner.
because that's not
spotter.
an easy exercise. But this again very heavy and
Yeah, super heavy duty.
very well made. I wonder if they also make like seat belts.
Oh, did you see Chuck's front squat harness?
Oh, just wait.
Oh,
This
We
What do
may
we-
have
in
such
here there's-
things.
Yes, there's first thing in here is Zercher straps. I think. Just a lot of chains.
Looks like some
Wow.
kind of weird.
whips and
Tanner
chains
brought
and
some
balls
weird,
in there.
weird sex bag over to my house.
These are Zercher straps, so I think everyone knows what a Zercher squat is probably.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
maybe some people
Yeah.
don't. Why don't you explain it?
Well, in a normal Zercher squat, the bar is sitting right in your elbow crease, which if you've ever done it before, it feels good.
You're holding the
and,
squat
and,
out in
and by
front of
good,
you.
and by good, he means the worst.
So what the idea here is you can still do that, but have it not quite hurt so bad, where you would put these in your arms where the bar would sit, and then you can do 2 things. Either attach these to the bar or attach these to like a belt squat machine. You could do it either way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you could Zercher
Belt
squat.
squat Zercher.
But they show it with a bar, or just a barbell actually, which would be the normal tool that you would use to do it. But this way, it apparently just hurts a little bit less
Yeah.
because you have a strap on you instead of a
Yeah. little
Steel
protection.
barbell.
Digging into my sensitive
And
elbows.
that thing literally has like a seatbelt strap on it there.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes. And then this last thing here is a front
That's the
squat
front squat
harness
harness.
for the belt squat.
And that
actually has a seatbelt
it
on it.
has a seatbelt clip on
Yeah,
it.
that's the front.
Which is actually nice because if you think about it, getting in and out of, you know what I mean? Getting in and out of any like strapped or shoulder harness or anything is a pain in the ass if you have to like unclip anything.
Yes. It also has a pretty substantial hook on it too. Like they don't underdo anything where it's like, oh, they kind of skimped on that.
I have never gotten anything from Spud that was like, well, this one's probably not going to hold up.
If you got stuck in your pickup in the winter, we might be able to rig this
Yeah,
up and
like
pull you out with
probably
my
could
pickup.
pull.
Well, I mean, you just have to pull it.
Oh yeah, that's
Not me though. Yeah. Someone's got to steer.
yeah. So that's what we got from Spud Inc.
Wow,
and I think
very
they just
cool.
kind of wanted us to try it out, and I suppose let them know our thoughts.
Put it through the ringer.
Yep.
I'm excited. I'm stoked about the forearmor stuff just because I have had this fucking elbow thing for like a year.
And you
Just keeps moving
you'll really
around,
be able
so-
to crank those down too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like if there's any amount of compression that can help that, like
I can
that
get
would
all
be
of
the
it.
tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know?
If the answer is more,
Yeah.
I can give it more.
Sometimes in the moment, that it's like that feels better, and then after you're done, it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have overdone it. So.
But I think these are a cool idea.
Yeah, I think so too. I wouldn't be surprised if people start ripping that idea off even.
I could picture some people doing that.
There's lots of people that do those types of things. And they are the worst.
So we have all this Spud Inc. stuff in front of us. We also have a gym full of a lot of Spud Inc. stuff.
Yeah.
If you guys had to pick one or two top Spud Inc. products, what would they be?
Hands down, my favorite thus far is my elbow sleeves. I got those with no expectations. And now, how long have we had those? It's been
Over a year.
I would say over
almost
a year.
Maybe, yeah, maybe close to
probably
2
almost
even.
a year. No, I don't think it's been that long.
I think it's like one.
it's like
I don't
about a
know.
year though, but for sure about a year. And like,
Yeah.
and I still use them, not every time I bench, but when things get heavy, like I'll do it. Overhead stuff a lot. Like, they feel great still. They're still tight enough to where my hands will go numb. Mm-hmm. So like they haven't gotten wore out necessarily to where they're not effective. It's still easy to get on and off. The only thing that's like wear on them is like the tag, which is a teeny little tag sewn into a stretchy product. The corner of the tag's starting to peel off, which
And from a functionality
doesn't
standpoint,
matter at
that's
all.
not
Yeah,
yet.
they're just losing their advertising.
loops
at that.
are
Loops are still
held
hanging
in
up.
it, yeah.
And I only put them on via the loops.
Yeah. And there's been more people since we've had those at the gym that have gotten those too.
So what is it, like $30 for the pair or something?
It's really cheap in comparison. And
If
I
even
don't,
that, $25,
Yeah.
maybe 25. I think.
and they hold up. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know of anybody that uses them as much as I do. And
Do you think the factory they get them from in China is pretty good then, or what?
what I think that means, I think it means that they're holding the factory in China to a high standard.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just know what they're doing when they make them.
Something that I've seen the people using that not exactly sure where this came from. I think maybe Chuck got it too. Is that attachment for the cable machine that like you do leg curls with? It just
I haven't seen anyone use that yet.
yeah, it just like locks into your heel. I've seen Larry does it
I
like
forgot
every day.
we had that thing.
And you do like leg curl with the cable machine, and I was
It's actually
skeptical.
pretty effective. Yeah.
I haven't used it, but I've been seeing it used a lot.
My sister had to buy one because she was training in like a regular like Globo gym.
and there was no
way to
leg
do hamstring curls.
thing. Yeah,
So she had bought one, and that's what she had used too.
yeah.
And then we have I guess for the cable machine too, just
Handles.
your standard handles. Like
And
those get used a lot.
Yep. We have the reverse hyper strap that on the reverse hyper.
My favorite piece has been the belt for the belt squat.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
because
say. I really like that.
after using, I think the first thing we had was like one of those really crappy like leather belts that had the
Like,
loop
it's
on
Almost
it.
like
What's
a,
the brand?
a cheap
Yeah.
weightlifting belt.
Kinda like
with
a
shape
Vallejo.
curve.
Yeah.
It's almost like
yeah.
a dip belt.
Yeah.
And so using that is like, ooh, this does not feel good. And then I think we were using the belt off of the
reverse hyper, yeah.
which was 1,000 times better, but still like didn't seem to be quite right.
Yeah.
And then when we got that belt for the belt squad, I remember you saying that, like, I was like, they make a belt for a belt. Like, that just seems like, oh, they're just like making stuff now.
Yeah.
And then you got it, and it's like, oh, this was made for, like, it makes the whole thing fit and feel really, really good. So that one is my favorite.
Yep, I agree. And I do like, I have the knee sleeves.
And yeah, I mean, those are great too.
I wear my SBDs more often than those, but I like having options, and every time I use them,
I know Ross uses his all the time.
Yeah, every time I use them, the loops are such a nice thing. Like, it's like, oh God, that's great. Just yank them right up.
If there was a way to attach them to your loops to your SPDs, would you do it?
I would say so. If they could make it just like, it makes the process really easy. Not like it's a huge. I mean, we're talking about like.
Cuts a half hour off your training time.
Yeah.
You don't have calves like I do. Mine is a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
I get pretty red in the face putting my knee sleeves on. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
That's like it's my pre-workout cardio.
Yeah. So some days I can get kind of heated putting them on. It just
Like,
brace. Yeah. Start bracing and holding your breath, bending over. Well, Spud Inc. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very awesome. And if you
Bring
guys
the
don't
heat.
have any of their stuff, definitely check them out because they know what they're doing and put out a top quality product. That is for sure.
Yeah, they sponsored this episode of the podcast because they gave us stuff.
Mm-hmm. If you would like to sponsor an episode of the podcast, you should give us stuff too.
And if you wanted to sponsor multiple episodes, the best thing you could give us would be money.
Yeah. I mean, if you sent us, let's talk some numbers here. If you sent us $20,000, we would actually
quite a few episodes.
We would actually name like episode 113 the
I mean, we could
the
probably
Tostitos Fiesta podcast.
At that point, we could probably even let you pick the subject matter, and we'll figure out a way to talk about it.
We'll change the name of the podcast to whatever your company name is.
Or if it's just you, like
Yeah.
listen, Steve Johnson. No, there is a Steve Johnson. That's too direct.
John Doe.
John Doe.
Hey, would you blow me?
Amanda Hugginkiss.
They can change our
Jack
names.
Meehoff. Any of those people, if they want to sponsor this podcast.
Robert Oberst. We made the Massenomics versus Alberto beef jerky, and Alberto sent him beef jerky.
Like we really are in the business of making dreams come true. I think.
No, my
Not
issue,
so much
my
for
issue
us,
with
but
that
for other
is that
people.
nobody sent us beef jerky.
Everyone
we did
forgot
all
the
the
middleman.
doing.
Apparently, Cale Beck sent that. I hadn't seen it. He sent it. He goes, "Look what you did." I was like, "Oh, that's great."
Glad we could help
Other people out.
Glad we could help Obi fall off his staying lean and mean wagon.
Couldn't you see him being like a spokesman for
Oh,
a
yeah,
beef
he
jerky
totally
company?
fits.
Like that would. I could just. The ads would write themselves.
Is there many more foods that like build themselves as like a man's man food?
Yeah,
and then like you get a guy like that, it's a natural fit. Actually, why every beef jerky company doesn't have like half of the strongmen on their team? Like I don't understand that either.
I agree. Seems like really logical.
Now we had that one. We also have had, since we last podcasted, one of the ones that we had in the tank that I was really excited about was the Kai Green versus Tom Green.
Okay, I personally thought this was one of the funnier ones.
Yeah.
Now,
Maybe it's just a little too fringe for some people.
Now here's the thing with it. We knew going into it that we had to have the Kai Green fucking a grapefruit thing.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, I'm just saying it's a thing that happened, and it's on video, and you can Google it and find that out. Also, that Tom Green jacked off a horse and only had one testicle.
And someone made a comment. They said, "Didn't Tom Green also have sex with a dead moose?" And I don't know if he had sex with the dead moose.
That
but
was in a movie.
Eminem said that he humped a dead moose.
But that was like on the movie. That was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I wouldn't hold him to that.
No, all right.
However, let's just break down here. So Kai Green versus Tom Green. Squabbled with Kai Green is Phil Heath. Tom Green, Drew Barrymore.
Yep, that marriage didn't
Divorced.
last.
Yeah.
They both have one. Kai Green, hairstyle. Tom Green, testicle. Best cinematic role, Kai Green in Stranger Things. He was in season 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Tom Green in Freddie Got Fingered.
Which
of
I would say
the
is
best.
I've seen Freddie Got Fingered lot of times.
When I was in like 7th grade, I watched that movie a lot.
That movie is so fucked up in that there is now. Here's the thing about that movie: 80% of that movie is not funny.
It's just the lines.
The 20% of that movie that is funny is the funniest thing that's ever been made ever. Like just the random bits, like where the old man walks into the deal and he's playing the keyboard, and he has strings attached to all of his fingers, and there's just sausage and bratwurst
Because
hanging
it's
out.
such an elaborate idea.
Oh yeah, and it's just
like this is like something a 3rd grader would.
and he's like, Daddy, would you like some sausages?
And the backwards man.
Yeah,
The backwards man's
the
good.
backwards man.
But then there's some shit where he was just doing Tom Green shit, which was not that funny. Where it's like, oh, your boy breaks his leg, and for shock value, we have a bone sticking out. Tom Green's
goes
like,
and licks
I'm gonna
it.
lick it. It's like, that does not need to happen for this fucking show.
I really like the Zebras in America cartoon though.
Yes.
With his hooves.
yeah.
My hooves, Daddy, my hooves.
So that was easily one of my favorites. And now, the really interesting thing here is, how long after did we publish this? About 3 hours after we published this, Kai Green comments.
I did not tag Kai Green in this.
Because
Usually
we were
I always
scared.
tag everyone, and I was like, yes, he did fuck a grapefruit, but
Did
like,
somebody type?
no.
I wonder if now there was a
Someone might have
hashtag.
DM'd
There was
him.
a hashtag
Yeah.
Kai Green,
Yeah.
but I'm wondering if maybe.
So does he sit there and search
Well,
hashtag Kai
the other
Green all day?
question is, at 3.8 million followers,
Yeah, he has that many.
all of his posts are pictures of him, but they're not taken by him. So I almost wonder if there isn't somebody else that runs his shit.
Yeah, that's
and
very
and
well
then
could be,
that
too.
many followers that runs his shit, and then he and then what they do is they just constantly will search for hashtag Kai
Yeah.
Green, and then they'll be good sports. But I mean,
They were good sports.
they were good sports about it.
What
but
they say, this is funny, or a bunch of
what did
laughy
he say?
faces.
Like that said that's funny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well,
Hey, I mean, that's how you got to be about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and nothing in there is untrue. Like he is the one that had a sex tape with a grapefruit. So
well, someone paid him to do it
Yeah,
too. It's not
yeah.
like it's not like he was just like.
he knew that people were going to watch that when he made it. He didn't make it like, oh, I hope nobody sees this.
It's also
you know?
not a thing where he was just like alone in his house, like, well, that grapefruit's looking pretty good. You know what I mean? Like somebody set those parameters and wrote a
Yes.
check. And if someone's
Probably
gonna,
a sizable check.
listen, I'll be honest, guys. If you guys really want to send us some real money,
Can do things with
it
grapefruit.
may not be released as an episode on YouTube, but Tanner will absolutely be willing to fuck a grapefruit for you as long as you pay me most of the money. But no, that was one of my favorite ones. The other one was that the
else
two
was
we
this?
had this week?
No, there's
Tim
something else
Allen
was-
and Brandon
Oh, yeah.
Allen.
I really like that,
That one was
too.
good too.
Yeah.
Also educational. I found out something new reading that one.
Interesting fact about Tim Allen that I think maybe some people didn't know.
Tim Allen actually, yeah. So should we run through this one?
Yeah, sure.
Sponsored by Tim Allen, Binford Tools, Brandon Allen, Cannabis, which is true. If you follow, like, he basically has some beard sponsorships, maybe some apparel, and then just like whatever dispensaries selling him weed that day. Biggest bulk, Brandon Allen, 360 in 2016. Tim Allen was the Santa Claus in 1994.
Some serious bulk.
Yeah.
Earns Brandon Allen 11,000 for second place at the U.S. Open, which is a sick burn.
And 150 per vert pull.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yeah. And then $22 million annually for Tim Allen.
That's mostly through royalties for like tool time
Yeah.
or what or home improvement. Yeah.
That still is in syndication.
Yeah.
Got caught skipping high rep sets that Chad Wesley Smith programs for Brandon Allen. And Tim Allen got caught trafficking 650 grams of cocaine in 1978.
And spent 3 years in
prison.
In prison.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, and spent 3 years in prison.
So was he famous at that
No,
time yet?
no, that was
He
before.
just a-
Two-
he just a
Home
random
Improvement
dude?
didn't start for about 10 years after he got out of prison.
Was that like his
Tim
first
Allen-
show? Was Home Improvement?
I don't know if
he was
on
a so
anything first.
he was a stand-up comedian
Yeah,
before
okay.
and during and after. A really dirty stand-up comedian. He also has a book out. I had read this book when I was like in high school. I think it's called "Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man." But it's Tim Allen's book. It's actually goes over like kind of all that stuff when he got sent to prison. Stuff like his autobiography and shit, and it's really fucking good.
See, I just assumed he was still kind of famous at the time, and somehow just it got swept under the rug and wasn't a big deal.
Nope, that was just like
Yeah,
that
it was like
just
10
him
years
doing
before
what,
he really.
Yeah, he was. That was just like what he did.
So the Santa Claus served some hard time.
Yeah. Old Saint Nick.
Wow.
Buzz Lightyear.
So speaking of serving hard time, have you guys watched Evil Genius on Netflix?
I have
No.
watched and finished based per your
What
recommendation.
did you think?
The first episode was the best episode.
Yeah.
I wanted more about the collar.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just tell Tyler the basics. It's basically like there was a real life Saw incident
Yeah. So
that
it's
happened.
I heard
yeah,
about
2000.
that. Yeah.
I think it was 2003. Right?
Yeah.
Erie,
Yes.
Pennsylvania.
Yes.
A guy robs a bank. He gets called. They call the police after he leaves. They pull him over like a block away from the bank. He's a pizza delivery man, and he's cooperating with the police. And he says, "I have a bomb on my neck. I didn't put it on here. Someone put this on me. I need to go do these next steps to get this bomb off, or it's going to explode. I'm going to die."
And you can see.
And so the cops look, and yes, there is a bomb strapped to this guy's neck, and it's with a metal device, and they can't get it off. And so, I mean, really, the show was just about how this bomb got on this guy, who did this to him, and how it all went down. And 4 episodes. It's a quick watch. I would recommend it.
Yeah,
it's
I
pretty
would
good
too. And it's another thing where you're like, gosh, why don't I know about some of this stuff?
Yeah,
Like,
I had
That
read
seems
it.
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Doesn't that sound awesome?
I had heard about this one on
Not for
Reddit
that
like
guy.
years ago.
Yeah.
And completely kind of, I almost thought it was like one of those urban legend type things. Because, who has someone capture them, strap a bomb to their neck, and like basically put them on like a treasure hunt to say, if you want your freedom, you have to do all these things.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it was a real thing. So I would recommend checking that show out.
Damn it.
Won't spoil the ending on that one. But
Yeah.
Everybody lives, and it's a happy ending. Nobody goes to jail. Everybody gets away.
It was just an elaborate prank, and everyone laughed it off.
it was actually the first
They had like a-
season of Punked. Ashton Kutcher came out then, and it was like, is that who did Punked?
Yeah. Justin Timberlake was in like 80% of the episodes.
Just punking him over and over.
What do we got new down at the gym, Tanner? Anything?
We have a barbell on the way.
Really?
On
yeah,
the way.
Yeah, an Elite FTS safety squat bar.
I like it.
It was on sale, and I've looked at it for just long enough that I figured I'd either buy it now when it's on sale with free shipping, or else wait and then force myself to buy it at some
full
point in
price.
time when it's full price. And be like, why didn't I just buy that when it was cheaper?
I believe some people have referred to this safety squat bar as the Cadillac of safety squat bars.
It seems to be that way. I mean, I've never used one myself, so I'm very curious to find out.
Yeah. Is there a lot of companies that make safety squat? Like Rogue
Does
doesn't
Rogue
make one,
make
do they?
one? Or?
I guess that's a good question. No, Titan makes one that sucks.
There's a lot of crappy ones.
Yeah.
The one we
It is
have in the
trickier,
gym is
though.
not that bad, though.
Yeah,
That's a pretty decent
The
bar.
padding is obviously
Yeah.
the easiest part to fail.
Yep.
And then 2, I think just kind of the ergonomics of it, the angles and how it's built and how everything is positioned, I think is kind of the
Yeah,
other big
because I
one.
think if they fall in love with one like setup with angles and all that stuff, and the leverage is like, if that's only useful for one application, it becomes like we talked in the past about like the Kabuki one, the transformer bar, which is pretty cool, and that then you're not married to that one setup.
I also want that
You
bar.
can kind of switch it. But I think the Elite FTS one is the gold standard as far as like a straightforward, like that's just the one that's probably just the most useful for most applications and holds up the most.
Yep.
Holds up the best.
They say the padding really like it does not,
compress.
like the one we have now does.
Compresses, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be here in 8 to 10 weeks based on our barbell ordering.
That's what I was going to say. God only knows. Like,
Does anybody
Barbell
deliver barbells quickly?
probably just Rogue. Or Titan, maybe.
I don't know. I never ordered a bar from Titan.
Yeah.
I guess everything I've ordered from them is fast.
Elite FTS started making a power bar too, which I was pretty curious. It's brand new. I'm curious to see what that's like. It's about the same price as a Texas power bar, and I'm wondering if it's not similar to a Texas power bar, but I'd really like to see it.
Yeah.
I want that too.
You said it is similar price?
Yeah, it's like you could get it for like $250.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
We're going to have a lot of bars down there now.
Yes, there's a lot of bars.
You
There's a
can't
lot of
probably
bars.
go to a place that has more bars than what we do. I I don't know.
I think every member could be at the gym, and there would be enough bars if everyone showed up at the exact same time. There would be
so the
excess
last
bars.
day of the gym's existence, you just say, "Everyone take a bar."
Everyone
and
gets one.
I've been taking a bar once a week. So there is now other than this place. I want you guys whip out your phones right now while you got them. Go on Instagram. I want you to look up
Same for are you talking to us or the listeners?
everybody.
If you're driving your car right now,
Do it anyways. Fuck it.
probably
I
on your
want you
phone
to go
anyways.
to Saiyan Strength Gym. That's SAIYAN Strength Gym. One word. And this fucking gym opens now in just a couple of weeks. And I've been following this since, I don't know where I stumbled across when they were unboxing some of their stuff.
What was it again? I know I've looked at this one.
SAIYAN
essay.
Strength Gym.
Oh yeah.
And they have fucking everything. A lot of it's still them like setting stuff up.
Oh, whoa.
But like you're talking like Eleiko bars, Eleiko plates. They've got fucking Eleiko chrome plates.
Yeah.
Like fucking everything is as top notch as possible. Like custom fucking
Eleiko Chrome
dumbbells.
45-pound plates.
Yeah.
pretty cool.
All the machines are dope as shit. I have not seen a place as equipped as this.
Those
One,
Eleiko
two,
45-pound chrome plates are like the coolest plates.
Yeah.
Those are.
So you're talking like shit tons of platforms. Look at all of these competition plates behind these platforms.
Yeah.
Like it just looks like a solid tube of shit that's like fucking 50 feet long, and it's just
Yeah.
plates on plates on plates.
So
on
you
plates.
can actually, I thought those Eleiko, those chrome ones were like a one-time thing. Like, can you actually still order those?
I think so.
obviously?
I think so. I guess. I don't know. I bet they're really expensive.
God, they
like.
gotta
I bet
be.
they've got like $50,000 worth of plates, if not more.
I would
45-pound calibrated 45-pound plates is just a funny thing.
Yeah.
right. I would love to figure out what's behind this gym. Like as far as like who is funding this.
Yeah.
How many members are they supposed to
And
have?
like, how long
Like-
until
like
you
how-
actually start making money?
Yeah.
They've
Well, 'cause
got they've got
hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment.
Oh, it's in the millions. I mean, you're talking many monoliths.
Yeah.
They have full piles of rogue rigs. I was counting one time when I went looking through here. There's like, I want to say like more than a half dozen different variations of leg presses. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 monoliths, all Elite FTS. Fucking crazy.
I don't know, at the Massenomics gym membership price, it would take a while to recoup that.
Yeah, like
Or
so-
just 10,000 members?
So I'm wondering though, like, so if you look at a place like this now, Matt, so let's just break it down, right? So you're going to go to a place like this and train. It looks cool, looks dope. They got real equipment. You know what I mean? It's not just a fluffy, shitty
Yeah.
cardio joint. So how much do you suppose that's going to cost? There's only so much you can charge though, because you
Yeah.
can still go squat and use dumbbells in any place. So that can't be $400 a month.
I don't know what does like Barbell Brigade. You know, I'm thinking of some other places
I'm
that
really
are kind of like that.
Yeah,
are-
like I'm always really curious what a membership is there. Just because it's kind
So
of
if you have any connections with Barbell Brigade, let us know what they charge.
or the zoo is Bradley Martin.
like that zoo culture.
Yeah.
Do you think either of those are? What do you think they're over or under $100 per month membership?
I would guess around there.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I can't. I bet they're not much more. They can't be much
You
more.
just
than
can't
that.
be, because I just don't know what you can do. But if I'm looking at this place and I'm like, how? I mean, I would pay a premium to train there just
But,
because you
like-
have everything. But also the question is like, how many members do you need, and how long does it take to make
Well,
any of this money?
and
back?
looking through this stuff, like I can't imagine there's a whole lot of people that even understand what they're getting when they go there.
Right.
You know, like there's a lot of people that's like there's a certain point where weights are just weights and bars are bars. You know,
Yes.
like it is definitely. They're way past the point of like, you know, the diminishing returns here. You know, that extra
they could've-
that extra $500,000. I mean, I don't think they're going to.
Look at this. These are all leg presses, different angles.
Yeah. And
Which is
I think
awesome.
that,
Like,
I think
there's
this
so
place
much-
looks really cool,
Yeah.
and it'd be sweet to go there. But I don't know. California's a different place, though.
That's true.
It's like aside from all the other stuff, then there still is. What do we got?
That really doesn't work anywhere else. I don't think.
Yeah, we've got there's like 6 full Rogue power racks in here too.
Yeah.
Like,
Which would be more than enough for almost any gym.
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, I guess I don't know if these people want to send us some info, That'd be cool.
Or if
I'd
they're
like to
having like
know.
a grand opening and they want to fly
Want
us
to fly
out
us
there,
out
we can come
there?
hype it up.
We will. Yeah, we will videotape it.
Yes.
I'll miss some squats while I'm there.
But you look good doing it with chrome plates all around.
I will. Yeah. That's the thing, though, is you'll get to a place like that too, and you're still there. There's no like dickhead filter probably, so you're still gonna have somebody leaving these just beautiful, using these incredible bars, and loading them up with these beautiful chrome plates, and just doing fucking like heavy banging around
Shrugs.
pin pulls and shrugs and rack pulls and slamming them into shit and
Yes. That would make me sick.
yeah.
Probably just buy another one.
Yeah. That's
I get that point, yeah. So Tanner, rumor has it you've been reading books.
don't believe everything
Like
you read
text,
on the internet.
like audio books, or actually
books
reading
on tape, yes.
Whoa.
I've been reading them.
auditorily.
Yes.
That's
By
how
osmosis.
That's how I like to read.
I read two Juggernaut books, I guess, one more Renaissance periodization. The two books I read were, the first one I read was Scientific Principles of Strength Training. That's by Mike Israetel, James Hoffman, and Chad Wesley Smith.
Is that the recommended starting point?
Well, that's the one I read first.
Okay.
The second book I read was solely by Chad Wesley Smith. It's called Thoughtful Pursuit of Strength, Juggernaut Training. And just the very quick of it, the Scientific Principles of Strength Training is a lot better book in many ways. I would highly recommend anyone to read that book. A Thoughtful Pursuit of Strength, I would also recommend to read.
You said that's the Chad Wesley Smith one?
Yeah, that's the one that he wrote.
Is it because you have a lot of beef with Chad Wesley Smith?
No, I really like him, and I really like all of his training methodologies and everything. But it's just that book. Like, I would say maybe it missed some of the steps in a normal book being published process, where they make sure that these 3 pages aren't a complete repeat of the last 3 pages. Like, literally, I was reading, and then I got to the end of, say, page 40. I got to 41, and it started over of what was on page 37. And went for 3 pages again of the same thing.
But were the pages still numbered correctly, though?
They were numbered correctly.
Okay, so
it was just completely reprinted of something that was, and for like 3 pages. And then I'd get to a page where some were gray in the book, but like they didn't change the ink color of the text, and you couldn't read it.
So the contrast
had to like get it just right in the light to even read the page.
So audiobook that one.
But there was some things where I'm like, like a lot of spelling errors too, and I'm not a good speller.
No, I also wonder too if some of that is missed by going. I'm guessing the route they go with that is like a self-publishing route. I'm certain.
I'm sure.
I'm certain they're not going through like a big publisher because
No.
that's a thing of the past. Because we had talked about this before too, but I know a handful of people who have made like self-published book. You write it, you edit it, you fucking build everything. Like now, Amazon will guide you through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you can pick the binding. You'll never touch a physical copy of a book.
Yeah.
Now you end up making less money on it because they're not producing 100,000 copies of it. They're producing them like one at a time.
Right.
So like, but I've got a couple of those that while they're good, and some of them are people that I really like and respect a lot. Nothing is more distracting to me than a fucking typo. And I have had some of these books where every like 5 or 10 pages there's a typo, and it will take me out of reading. Yeah. I'll go in and I'll be like, "You fucking spelled a word, god damn it!" And it shouldn't be that distracting because you know what it means.
It's at least that frequent in the
but when that happens in a book, it's like when a person uses a phrase wrong in person. Some people are willing to dismiss that, and I'm like, I can't.
You're breaking the rules here.
I'm like, I got to call them out on that. Like, I have to call them out on that, right? I can't let them say that.
That is not a bird in the hand and 2 in
Yeah.
the bush.
Yeah, god damn it. Yeah, that is not what that is.
But that book, all that being said, the content is really good. But if you were to ask me what it's specifically about, it's hard to pinpoint because it jumps around. Like, it is, I'm quite fairly sure a lot of the book is a summing of various articles that he has written over time. So you'll go from one chapter to the next, and it's like
a little disjointed.
Yeah, disjointed, definitely, because it is literally just various articles that he's probably put together over time.
Yeah.
But all the information is really good. Scientific Principles of Strength Training, on the other hand, is
a book.
Yes, is a really good book too. And there again, not to take anything away from the information in A Thoughtful Pursuit of Strength, it's good. But even just sitting here, it'd be hard for me to tell you what. I know I learned things in it, but it's more like reading through it and I'm picking out things that I think are really interesting. But Scientific Principles of Strength Training goes through the 7 principles. It starts at the beginning with almost like a glossary of terms that you need to know to read the book.
To speak the language.
Yeah, which I think is a really good idea.
Yeah.
And, some books might be written at PhD level, where you'd pick it up and you're like, oh, I don't know. I don't want a complete textbook. Super Training, I think, is that way.
Yep.
And then some might be almost catered to far below, what an intermediate might want to
Some of them
learn.
become too basic.
Yeah. And this is a really good, if you're someone that's, I would say, an intermediate lifter, even to intermediate to advanced, this would be a really good book for you to pick up. And especially if you've got questions about programming, it's basically all tied around programming in one way or another. It goes through the rules by their most importance, but the rules are, number 1 is specificity, number 2 is overload, number 3 is fatigue management, number 4 is SRA curve, which is stimulus recovery adaptation. So that's talking about the frequency of your training. The 5th is variation in your training. The 6th is phase potentiation. And the 7th is individual differences. And every one of those chapters is really good, where you'll read it and be like, huh, wow, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
How much do you suppose getting, not just reading through that book, but getting a grasp, at least just a grasp of each subject that covered in there? How much do you then, when you walk away from that, feel equipped with which you probably don't need to seek out any assistance in program? You feel like you're going to do your programming? I
am working on something. I have started to do that based on this, but this book alone in a vacuum wouldn't be enough to get you there. But this would be a really big piece of the puzzle to get you there, I think, is what I would say.
Do you think if they were to pay us money that we would say that it is all you need?
I think they would even say, they would say that it's not all you need.
Yeah.
But it's the best, for my own puzzle, it's the best piece I've found that's given me more useful information than anything else, because programming, you can lift for a long time and not really understand.
The least glamorous part of the entire lifting process.
Right.
It's awesome to talk about, the weights you're crushing, the food you're crushing, all this crazy stuff you're doing in the gym, but it's not cool to talk about oh yeah, I sat down the other day and put together these numbers for what I'm going to do for the next 12 weeks. It's
you're like, yeah, I realize that I probably need to take 3 days off in a row now because it hurts when I sit down to poop.
yeah.
And most of the periodization stuff,
hypothetically, it's not an actual thing that's ever happened to me.
But it
could.
Most of the periodization stuff is applicable to any type of training that you're doing. But obviously what I'm interested is in the powerlifting side of it, and that's what they funnel to eventually, but they do kind of cover it on a broad topic that you can apply to any athlete, like a football player or anything, but then they funnel it down to powerlifting a little more specifically as it goes on. But some of the stuff, just like phase potentiation, talking about hypertrophy phases, strength phases, and peaking phases, just like that alone, I developed a much better understanding of that, and I didn't have a good understanding of that before.
Can you quickly break down what you would define as each one of those stages?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. There's an actual definition that you can. I might have some of the numbers slightly wrong, but in a hypertrophy phase, which usually any block would be 3 to 7 weeks long, usually always ending in a deload. That's the fatigue management is, and it depends on the person where, how frequently they're going to need to deload. But
daily.
Yeah.
Deload daily and nightly.
Once in the
Wait,
morning.
what's
and,
deload? Wait, what is deload? But what was I talking about?
The definition of the phases.
Oh, yeah. So in hypertrophy,
Hypertrophy.
you're basically in percentage ranges, you'll be between 60 and 75% of your 1 rep max of any exercise that you're doing. And your rep range will be from 7 to 12. And you'd stay within those rep and percentage ranges throughout that block of training, throughout that hypertrophy training. And strength training would be then 75% to about 85 to 90%, depending on the lifter. And you would be between 3 and 6 rep range. And then peaking, which is hypertrophy and strength training are really blocks in themselves. Peaking is, I look at that as a little bit of a separate thing, but it'd be 90% plus in that range, and usually 1 to 3 reps.
Yeah,
But
it makes sense.
Yeah, but it's really good. I would highly recommend it.
How long of a read is it?
It's a pretty robust book.
I think it's
isn't it?
maybe like 400 pages or something.
So,
Yeah,
it's a book here.
Yeah, and actually, I read it. Then I read his other book that I read. Then I came back and kind of reread a couple of the parts of that book just because it's. Yeah. I was trying to read it to actually understand it, not just read it to be like, all right, last page.
Did it? Woo!
I
Chuck
find,
that one off the list.
I find the only way that I get through something like that where I'm trying to understand it is I have to take notes.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't read a book, so I don't read anything. Like I don't read like fiction.
Right.
So if
right,
I'm gonna
neither do I.
read, if I'm gonna read a thing, I'm reading it to learn something. So
Yeah.
like, for the most part, everything that I'll do, if I'm reading, there will be like a pen and a pad, and I will take notes.
Mm-hmm.
And I may never revisit those notes. There's a good, like I've had many books that I never ever look back at those
It
notes.
just helps your learning
I think
process.
just
But
the act of
because I
writing
write
something
it down,
You're conscious about
it goes
now.
in. If it goes onto that paper, it probably is in my brain,
Yeah.
and that's the only reason I didn't have to look back at it. But if I just keep flipping past, I don't know about you, but I can kind of like read the words on 3 or 4 pages and be like, wait,
yeah,
what? And go
Well,
back.
That's easy to
when,
do.
when I'm reading to actually learn, I end up rereading, like not every single page, but I'll read for a bit and then I'll be like, wait a second, I quit paying it. Like I was reading and I quit paying attention, and I'll be like, better go back because now I don't even know where we've gotten here. You know,
I do think like reading like that is a thing that goes because of the way we do everything now. Like I could do when I had a real job, I did my entire job before, like a pretty technical and sometimes with some risk, with like while also listening to podcasts constantly. And then sometimes while listening to podcasts and also just dicking around on my phone while I'm doing these things.
so doing 3 things.
Yeah, and like and really with almost no problem whatsoever, but like it doesn't work when you're actually trying to maximize your information retention.
Right.
or your effectiveness at anything, really.
Yeah, let's be honest. I was also bad at being
Podcast listening.
I was bad at listening to podcasts. I wasn't that good at dicking around on the internet, and then I was just simply passable.
I think that's one thing a lot of people like to like. Yeah, I listened to this podcast, and I also did this, and I did this and this.
And you did,
and
none
like
of
they're
it
kind of
effectively.
bragging about it. I'm like, well, you also kind of barely did 10 things, and the 10 things you did really poorly at.
Yeah.
Them. Like that's nothing. To be
There
proud
is
of.
that was one of the things that they say now is like that multitasking is a total myth.
that
Like,
doesn't exist.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
li-
and I
yeah.
know I'm terrible. I don't even attempt to do it. Like if you want to talk to me while I'm typing, I can't even do that. I have to do one or the other.
But that's what
I
they
find
say,
myself-
right? That you
yeah.
are. Everyone has to. Like you're lying if you say you're multitasking.
Yeah, just because
you
you're
really,
doing the things, you're not
Yeah.
doing them well.
Yeah.
And I find myself all the time like thinking it's the rudest thing in the world to do. Like I'll be sitting around dicking around my phone and like someone will come by and talk to me, and I'll look at them while I'm still scrolling on my phone and talk to them, and but like I'm not paying attention to.
Well, really, all your brain is thinking is, why aren't they done talking yet? So I can focus on my phone.
But also, I'm also not doing any of it.
yeah,
Right.
It's a switch, and nothing's happening. My brain's just fucking wasting energy.
Yeah, and you don't even need an outside source for that to happen. I could literally be here like this. This happens in my daily life sometimes, and someone will be talking.
brain will run
and
off.
I'll be like, wait.
What did you just say?
Yeah, is he still talking to me?
Like Mike forgot what this is going on. My go-to in that case when somebody has been talking, and it's not even that I've been blowing them off. Like my brain, I just glazed over for a moment, and then they'll leave something will end, and they're looking for a response from me, and my answer is always like, it's like, that's crazy. I mean, like you're like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
Well, there was the Dave Chappelle.
I just told you about my mom being admitted to the psychiatric ward.
Crazy, Tanner. Yeah.
Dave Chappelle has that sketch. He's like, "Did you ever wonder like what people are thinking about when you talk to him?" And it's the one guy, and he's like thinking about I think like a girl's boobs or something, and then all of a sudden he's like thinking of a monkey like throwing poop, and it's like literally the dumbest shit, but it's like that's kind of not far from true.
Yeah, not at all.
Brandon Franklin, I saw he had a post about driving. He was talking about driving long distances to meet up with his girlfriend, and he'll be going down, say, I don't know, the interstate or a big highway, and he'll look and be like, "Oh, how did I get here? Like, where did those 25 miles just go?" Like, I feel like not that he's on his phone or anything, but just like that he completely.
It's the same thing when you drive home from work. Just because you've done that drive 10,000 times, you get in your drive and you're like, who just drove the car here?
Yes. Like,
I mean, I do the same thing, but it's because of the No, it's interesting on the driving thing. Actually, we have a group of people coming in to run like a kind of a seminar deal, and so we had them do like a live takeover of my gym's Instagram feed, and anyway they did like a live video, but one of the gals she was just driving home from work, so had the phone in the deal on the dash, just live, so she's just talking while she's driving. Pretty fucking innocuous. Like, it's really not any different than being on the phone. She's not even having to engage visually in it. Just kind of look at it just like you're looking at the dash, right? Some do-gooder fucking sends me a message on that fucking thing. Going, "Oh, yeah, it's all pretty funny until someone..." I'm trying to find the exact words. Like, till you run somebody over because you're doing cinema while you're driving. And I was like, my answer was, well, first off, who says fucking the words "doing cinema"? And I said that through my business account, which maybe was not the most professional thing. But I was like, man, fuck you.
Yeah, don't say cinema.
Listen, don't call them. Yeah, and also don't call them out for that, because that's not near as harmless as what I do when I drive all the time, which is fucking text and drive and dick around and Google my own name, and whatever shit you shouldn't be doing while you're driving on your phone. I do it 100% of the time, always, because I'm the fucking worst. But I'll admit it. Most people won't, but I'll fucking own it that I fucking dick around on my phone while I drive all the time, and I know it's dangerous. I'm just not fucking cognizant or disciplined enough to not do it. And that's okay, but don't fucking high road me. Mm-hmm. Especially about that, which is much less fucking serious of a crime. Well, also, that's like no different than being on the phone while you drive.
Well, right, exactly. If they have it, especially if they have it set up before they are driving, and then going, it's just like a hands-free.
Exactly.
I mean, at that point
it's literally no different.
No,
yeah,
it's just that it's video recording you.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that's the difference.
Yeah. So anyway, next time anyone wants to tell me their opinion on something, go fuck yourself.
And don't say cinema.
Don't ever say cinema.
Unless like a really rare...
Going to the cinema. Also, I didn't know doing cinema was cinema was a thing that you did. As though it's a verb. You're going to go do some tennis. Or whatever. Get the fuck out of here. But anyway, that's about got us all wrapped up for today.
Yeah, it's about the end of this cinema.
We're turn into a pumpkin.
This cinema's a wrap.
That's a wrap up. We're done doing podcast today. But anyway, let's cover the bases. Massenomics.com store is there. What all we got in the store? Tanner's wearing the hat.
This hat's in the store.
That hat's in the store.
This one.
Tommy's shirt's in the store.
That shirt.
My shirt's Filthy Power Gym store.
It's in a different store, but it's there.
It's in a store.
This is a shirt like this, only in a different colors in the store.
Yeah.
And even more.
And more.
And more things are in the store. So that's where you're going to find all that
store,
stuff.
We mean
the Massenomics.com store.
Yeah, and like my office area thing.
Yeah, they're actually, you can buy them in the Massenomics store, but they're actually in Tanner's office at home. And there's a lot of them.
Yeah. Tanner's office is an enormous warehouse.
Yes.
With millions of dollars worth of retail goods.
That's right.
So, but anyway, there you're going to find the rest of the stuff there. All our articles, all our videos, all our podcast episodes are there. They're also available on YouTube and also in audio on iTunes. Make sure you like us on Facebook. If you have any business requests, we talked a lot about sponsorship stuff. If you would like to send us things for free, and I know you do, send them to us at getbig@massenomics.com. We'll give you all the info you need to to hook us up with the cool shit. We prefer T-shirts. I'm a 2X. Tanner, you're an XL. Tommy.
XL, unless they're like those baby shirts, then give me a 2X. If they're like the ones that are like a T, I've gotten some XLs before. And I'm like, this is a medium.
I'm a 2X. I'm a straight up 2X. Yeah. Tommy, are you you're a hard XL mostly?
Between a large and an extra large.
So listen, you know how your shit fits.
Same way though, like if you got a large and you got one of the ones that's in the kid sizes, it could be pretty small.
There's some larges where just the length alone is. Yeah. And I know a lot of times XL doesn't give you a whole lot more length, but
just send us all
send us some shirts.
Just send us a lot of sizes.
2X and extra large and a large if they fit normal. If they're small, probably still a 2X, and an extra large.
Yeah.
Yeah, we make that work.
Yeah. I mean, they better be cool though. For sure. Don't send us some shit we can't wear.
We're influencers.
Listen, here's the deal. The amount of power we're talking, we basically made Oberto beef jerky. Send free beef jerky to Robert Obers.
We're kind of in the business of viral post people. Yeah.
So listen, would you like us to convince people to send you free beef jerky? Yeah. Because we probably can't do that.
How many posts have you made that got free jerky
75,
in someone's hands?
75,000 people watched Bud Jeffries walk across his lawn in a Massenomics shirt with a yoke on fire.
On that second time you posted it?
75,000 people.
So what the fuck have you done?
He's on to something.
Yes.
Very cool.
So what else do we got? Make sure you talked about Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. I think we're down to the grams, right?
Yes, the grams. Sounds about
right. All right. On the grams, I'm Tyler. You can find me at Tyler F. and Stone. That's Tyler EFF Stone. Tommy?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
And Tanner?
The Massenomics page at Massenomics.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week, and stay strong. We're not saying anything.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears.
For sure.
You're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.